Alright, now that update 26 has arrived, there's three things I want to talk about. The Golden Age of Fang Prime, Ember's rework, and Vauban's rework. So now we're going to be talking about Vauban's rework. Now, like the Ember rework, let's talk about the big changes. Tesla is now Tesla Novos. The real big thing is that you can now throw 4 of them at the same time if you really want to, and they can actually follow you around and they can do all sorts of weird and wonderful things. Another big change is actually Tesla Bank, which I'll talk about in a second. Mine layer has gone into completely different mines, of varying quality still. Tether coil, more or less, it's kind of useful, I guess. Fletched orb, more or less useless. Vector pad, pretty useful. And overdriver seems pretty useful as well. So really, 2.5 out of 4. Let's give it a 2.5 out of 4. Not bad, that's a pass mark. Photon Strike is the big one. It's a gigantic space laser from the sky, and I think it is absolutely fantastic. 4,625 damage. Now, you normally think that that's not a lot of damage. Like, just pure raw damage these days doesn't really typically translate into a whole lot, but 4,625 damage is quite a decent amount, and we'll actually see the effectiveness against some heavy gunners in a second. And also, there's this thing called Photon Repeater. I suspect that's actually overpowered. And finally, we have Bastille and Vortex together. I didn't realize that that was so good until now, but yeah, it's pretty dope. The idea is just basically everything you know about Bastille, throw it in with Vortex. That's it. When Bastille is nearly done, it just collapses into a vortex, and that's basically how that works. Okie dokie! Now, a zero former build for Vauban Prime. Very balanced, whilst being able to skew a little bit further towards strength, not range, strength. And the reason why we want to skew a little bit further towards strength is so that Photon Strike can do as much damage as it can, because if we were to just simply use Intensify, for example, the difference is instead of doing, 4,600 damage, we're now doing 3,200 damage, and that's a little bit shit. So we're going to use that. Where is it? Otherwise, Tesla Bank is actually hilariously powerful, and we're going to have a look at it in action. I actually came across this particular thing from Reddit, so I'm not the one who discovered this. Someone else discovered this. I'm that kind of a person. I will credit where credit is due. But Photon Repeater, oh my god, it is a lot of fun. Especially if you're able to actually find yourself in a room full of enemies. Get yourself a great big vortex, photon the crap out of them. So without further ado, let's have a look at some demonstrations. Alright, so here we have our level 135 Corrupted Heavy Gunners. Let's go! I am now going to hide behind here, wait for them to come, and I'm just going to drop my Bastille like that, so that these guys are hooked onto the Bastille. If this last one can come in a little bit closer, come on, there we go. So all of these guys are hooked on the Bastille, and as you notice, they're actually losing all of their armor, because Bastille now strips armor. Depending on your power strength, it'll take either 10 seconds or 6 seconds as far as I can tell. My build only does 6 seconds. So we're gonna now hold 4 to drop Vortex, and with them all together, I think, or more or less, we're going to drop a space laser. We're going to drop another space laser. Down. A space laser. Another space laser. A space laser. Oh, they're all dead. And notice that all the subsequent space lasers after the first one were free. Photon Repeater is absolutely overpowered, and I love it. Awesome. Now, Tesla Bank is another augment, this time for Tesla Novos, or Tesla, if you want to call it like that. Once again, we're going to wait for them to come in, and drop the Bastille. Okay, now the idea is, we're now going to drop our Tesla Novos, and they're going to be hitting that enemy. Now, all we're going to do, okay, keep in mind, all we're doing is shooting this enemy. Okay, credit where credit is due. I don't know if I've said this already. I didn't discover this. Someone on Reddit discovered this. I'm only demonstrating that for my video. Awesome. Now, keep in mind though, that this is not as useful against armored enemies, obviously. So let's say if we were to somehow CC all of them. Somehow making this useful for a change. And then we use Tesla Novos. And we try to kill them. Now as you can see here, it did do some damage, but because it's only electricity damage against armored enemies, it's not useful, you know? So just keep that in mind, okay? It's not true damage, basically, I guess is the point I'm trying to make here. It's just electricity damage, which is, I guess, unfortunate. But when you can strip their armor, I mean, doesn't really matter at that point. And then of course, you know, it's a vortex, so you have infinite capabilities to just completely decimate them with your melee weapon. Awesome. Okay, just to conclude, we're going to have a quick look at every single mine layer thing. So, first off, let's have a look at how useless the Fletcher mine is. We're going to wait for them all to get here. Here's the Fletcher orb, not the Fletcher mine. Bastille. Here's one. Wow, it's doing a whopping 1,000 damage. And we'll run out of energy. Pretty useless, mate. Pretty useless. And now I'm nearly dead. So let's ignore that. Now the other mines, of course, is the vector pad. The way this works is you drop a vector pad on the floor, and then... whee! Drop another vector pad on the floor, and whee! Another one. Oops, that's a thinger. Whee! There we go. That's how that one works. Overdriver is a little bit different, so we're actually... whoa, that was very fast. Overdriver is a little bit different, so we're actually going to do the test that we already did already. Bad English. Oh, it also works on enemies. Ha 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 ha. Now, Overdriver. I now do apparently 46% more damage. So, Space Laser! That was about half their health. Space Laser! They're not dead yet, but they're nearly dead. Still takes 3 Space Lasers to kill them, but I guess because my power strength isn't high enough. Oh well. But the point is, you do a lot more damage. Before it was 3 convincing Space Lasers to kill them, now it's 2 convincing Space Lasers and like a tiny little bit left to go. And Tether Coil, we've already had a look with the previous demonstration. Just basically tethers enemies and they become crowd controlled. Great, awesome. So once again, Fletcher Orb, absolutely useless. Anyway, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. Do you like Vauban's new rework? Let me know. I think Rahatelius probably is still a little bit iffy about it. I don't know, I haven't seen his video about it. Either way, we'll see. Anyway, there's a lot more things to talk about, but I'm not going to be covering all of them. If you want to have a good idea about all the other new things, melee, Kuvaliches, and all that stuff, how about you do what the Reaper Hunter, Life of Rio, and all those other guys don't probably have any video evidence of, and just play the fucking game. So, if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more WarFrame content, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye!